Welcome to the channel, story lovers. I'm thrilled to kick off something truly special today. A gripping six-part mini-series titled, Who Took Lily Harper? If you're a fan of edge-of-your-seat mysteries, where every clue twists the knife a little deeper, you're in for a treat. This is a classic whodunit, set in a foggy coastal town where nothing is as it seems, starting with a perfect family gathering that spirals into every parent's worst nightmare, a child's sudden disappearance. Over the next 6 days, we'll drop one episode each night, building the suspense layer by layer until the shocking finale. This is a mystery begging for your wildest theories. Drop your craziest guesses in the comments below. Who do you think did it? Why? I almost guarantee you won't see the real culprit coming. But let's see who out of our detective-minded subscribers guessed correctly. And if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss a single twist. This first episode, The Day She Vanished, sets the stage perfectly. We'll meet the close-knit neighbors, the devoted family, and a cast of characters who all seem so ordinary until one of them isn't. Listen closely, every detail matters. Grab your headphones, settle in, and let's begin. Who Took Lily Harper? Part 1. The Day She Vanished. The fog in Port Haven has a personality all its own. Some mornings it drifts in thin and shy, brushing the rooftops like a hesitant visitor. Other days it storms the coast in great rolling walls, swallowing the town whole until the streetlights burn like lost lanterns in a dream. The old fishermen down at the harbor swear the fog listens, that it carries secrets out to sea and brings new ones back on the tide. On the last Saturday in August, the fog stayed away. Seaview Ridge sits high above the town, a quiet cul-de-sac of 8 modern homes cantilevered over the cliffs like birds about to take flight. The Harper's house is the last one, the one with the widest view and the steepest drop. From the backyard you can stand at the edge of the lawn and look straight down 200 feet to the rocks and churning water below. On a clear day, the horizon feels close enough to touch. On a bad day, it feels like the edge of the world. Mia Harper had been up since 7, moving through the house with the quiet intensity she brought to everything that mattered. The kitchen counters were already crowded, bowls of potato salad chilling in ice baths, watermelon cut into perfect triangles, 3 kinds of lemonade because someone always claimed they didn't like the one with mint. She wore a pale linen sundress, the color of sea glass, her auburn hair twisted up with a pencil, loose strands curling at her neck in the warmth. Every so often, she paused to glance out the wide windows at the yard where Nathan was setting up the grill. Nathan Harper was the kind of man people trusted on sight. Tall, steady, with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses and a smile that made anxious parents relax and frightened children open their mouths without protest. He wore a faded blue apron that read, Dr. Dad, in cracked white letters, a gift from Lily 3 Father's Days ago, and wielded the tongs like a conductor's baton, arranging charcoal briquettes with unnecessary precision. He hummed as he worked, something old and gentle that Mia couldn't quite name. Lily herself was the bright center of everything. 9 years old, all elbows and knees and wild curls, the color of autumn leaves after rain. She had kicked off her sandals the moment she stepped outside and now raced barefoot across the grass, sketchbook clutched to her chest, shouting instructions to imaginary sea creatures only she could see. Every few minutes, she darted back to Mia, cheeks flushed, eyes shining, to display her latest masterpiece, an octopus wearing a top hat and monocle, a whale playing the violin with its tail, a mermaid with Lily's own freckled face who was clearly queen of the entire ocean. "Mom, look!" She has a crown made of starfish and sea anemones. Mia knelt in the grass, brushing clippings from her daughter's knees. She's magnificent, baby, just like her artist. Lily beamed, the kind of smile that started in her eyes and spread outward until the whole world felt brighter, then spun away again. Yellow sundress flaring like a sunflower in full bloom. By 3 o'clock, the yard was full of life. Claire Donovan had arrived first, arms loaded with folding tables and a color-coded schedule taped to a clipboard. Claire ran the neighborhood the way a general runs an army, efficiently, relentlessly, and with the absolute conviction that chaos would reign without her. She wore crisp white capris and a nautical striped shirt, her blonde bob immaculate even in the breeze coming off the water. She greeted Mia with an air kiss and immediately began rearranging the condiment trays into perfect alignment. Ryan Donovan trailed behind her, carrying a case of imported beer and a tension that seemed to vibrate just under his skin. He had the kind of tan that came from golf courses rather than beaches, and a restless energy that made him pace even when he was standing still. The cliffside resort project he was developing had divided the town jobs and tourism on one side, preservation and quiet on the other, and the arguments followed him everywhere, even to backyard barbecues. He kissed Mia's cheek, muttered something about the weather, and was already reaching for his phone before he reached the cooler. Evie Walsh showed up 20 minutes late, as always. 28, with dark hair that never quite stayed in its ponytail, and paint perpetually in her cuticles and streaked across her jeans. She lived in the tiny apartment above the town bookstore and survived on tips from babysitting and the occasional sale of her moody coastal watercolors. She brought Lily a new sketchbook, thick, creamy pages bound in deep green leather, and Lily squealed so loudly that half the yard turned to look. Evie laughed, the sound low and warm, and swung Lily up into a spinning hug that ended with both of them collapsing in the grass. Even Victor Kane was there, though he kept to the edges. He parked his battered pickup at the curb and walked around to the back gate, carrying a toolbox. 55, maybe 60, with a face like weathered driftwood and eyes that noticed everything and revealed nothing. He kept the lawns and hedges of Seaview Ridge immaculate and asked for nothing in return except to be left alone. When Claire tried to press a plate of food on him, he shook his head once and went straight to the section of fence along the wooded path that had begun to sag dangerously toward the drop. The afternoon unfolded slowly, richly, the way perfect afternoons are meant to. Children shrieked through games of tag and hide-and-seek. Someone turned on music, soft indie folk with acoustic guitar and lyrics about lighthouses and lost love that blended perfectly with the distant sound of waves far below. Claire organized a water balloon toss that ended with everyone soaked and laughing, shirts clinging, hair dripping. Ryan stepped away twice to take calls, his voice growing sharper each time. Words like permits and investors and timeline drifting back on the breeze. Evie sat cross-legged on the grass with Lily and 3 other neighborhood kids, showing them how to draw perspective so the ocean looked endless on a flat page. Nathan told the toy car story again, how a 6-year-old boy had swallowed a plastic convertible whole, and Nathan had retrieved it in the ER without surgery, and the adults gathered around him the way they always did, half horrified, half charmed. He told it well, with just enough detail to make the mothers wince, and just enough warmth to make them trust him with their own children tomorrow. Mia drifted from group to group, refilling drinks, wiping sticky fingers, accepting compliments on the food with quiet thanks. She felt the particular contentment that comes when your home is full of people you mostly like, the weather is kind, and your child is safe and happy in the center of it all. She paused at one point beside Victor, who was kneeling by the fence with a hammer and a length of wire. "Thank you for coming on a Saturday," she said. "You didn't have to," he grunted, not looking up. Fence was leaning. Kids play near it. Simple as that. Later, she found Evie and Lily lying on their stomachs under the big madrona tree, heads together over the new sketchbook. Evie was showing Lily how to shade waves so they looked like they were moving. "You're spoiling her," Mia teased. Evie grinned up at her. "Someone has to. Besides, she's teaching me how to draw starfish crowns." Lily looked up too, eyes bright. "Evie says I could sell these at the bookstore someday. Real money, Mom." Mia's heart did its familiar flip. "I have no doubt." At 5:30, the sun began its slow slide toward the horizon, turning the water molten gold and painting long shadows across the lawn. Claire clapped her hands sharply and announced, "Cake." The long picnic table was already set with paper plates in ocean colors, forks lined up like soldiers. The cake itself was 3 layers of dark chocolate with sea salt caramel frosting, sprinkled with crushed meringue that looked like sea foam breaking on sand. The children came running from every corner of the yard, all except one. Mia noticed first. She had been slicing the cake, humming under her breath, when the sudden absence struck her like a missed heartbeat. She scanned the yard automatically, the tire swing empty and still, the slide deserted, no flash of yellow among the hydrangeas or around the corner of the house. "Lily?" she called, lightly at first, expecting an immediate giggle from some clever hiding spot. Heads turned. The laughter quieted fractionally. "Lily Harper. Cake time. You don't want to miss this." "Nothing." Evie stood up slowly from where she'd been sitting on the deck steps, brushing grass from her jeans. "She was here a minute ago," she said, voice uncertain. "She asked if she could run down the path to look for sea glass. Just for a second. She said she saw a really good piece from up here, all swirled blue and green." I thought. Nathan was already moving, apron still tied, face suddenly pale beneath his tan. "The path?" he repeated, and the word carried weight. "The wooded path begins at the far corner of the backyard, marked only by a gap in the fence and a narrow dirt trail that winds steeply down through salal and alder and blackberry brambles to the narrow strip of pebble beach below. It's beautiful in full daylight, dappled and green and full of hidden birds. At dusk, with the tide coming in and the light fading, it can be treacherous. Rocks slick with algae, roots that catch at ankles, places where the trail narrows to less than a foot with nothing but air on one side." They searched the yard first, methodically now, calling her name in voices that tried to stay playful and began to crack around the edges, behind the shed. Inside the hollow cedar stump, where she sometimes built fairy houses from shells and twigs. Under the deck, in the garage among the beach toys and forgotten Christmas decorations. Every place she had ever hidden before. Minutes slipped past. 5, 10, 15. The light was changing fast now, the gold bleeding out of the sky, the shadows stretching long and strange. Someone fetched flashlights, though the sun hadn't fully set. Neighbors fanned out, voices growing sharper, more urgent. Claire's was loudest. Edged with panic, she was trying and failing to hide behind efficiency. Ryan stood at the gate to the path, staring down into the trees as though willing Lily to appear, his phone forgotten in his hand. Victor set his tools down without a word and joined the search, moving along the fence line with silent, methodical efficiency. Evie kept repeating the same words, quieter each time. She said, "Just a minute." She promised she'd be right back. Mia's heart began to hammer so hard she could feel it in her throat, in her fingertips. A cold that had nothing to do with the evening breeze settled in her chest. Police arrived sooner than seemed possible. Officer Ramirez first, calm and kind-eyed. Then more cars, lights flashing silent red and blue across the front of the house. They moved with practiced urgency, asking questions, taking names, gently herding the guests inside. The cake sat untouched on the table, frosting beginning to slide in the lingering warmth. In the living room, they crowded around Officer Ramirez's laptop as he pulled up the doorbell camera footage. The room had gone very quiet. The timestamp read 5:12 p.m. A figure appears at the very edge of the frame. Average height, build impossible to determine beneath loose clothing. Dark hoodie pulled up, face completely obscured by shadow and the angle of the camera. The person pauses for 3 full seconds, head turning slowly as if scanning the yard beyond the lens's view, then walks deliberately out of frame, straight toward the gap in the fence, straight toward the entrance to the wooded path, the same direction Lily took. Mia felt the room tilt sideways. She reached blindly for Nathan's hand and found it already reaching for hers, cold and steady, and not steady at all. Outside, the fog had finally begun to move in from the sea, cool and damp and inevitable. It curled around the porch lights like smoke, softened the edges of everything, turned the world into something half-erased. Somewhere far below, the ocean kept its ancient rhythm against the rocks, steady, patient, indifferent. And Lily was gone. And there it is, the day everything changed. Lily Harper, 9 years old, bright as sea glass, simply gone, vanished from a backyard full of friends and neighbors, from a sunny afternoon that felt safe and ordinary, into the fog and the darkening woods. We've met them all now. If you're listening right now, I need to hear from you. Drop your theory in the comments. Who do you think the hooded figure was? Who do you suspect most after everything you've just heard? Be as wild or as careful as you want. I'll be reading every single one. And please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications if you haven't already. Part 2, Shadows and Alibis, drops tomorrow night. The search begins in earnest. The police arrive, and the first cracks in everyone's stories start to show. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for trusting me with your time tonight. Keep the ones you love close. I'll see you tomorrow.